and this is an image of your baby. This is
Not just like the plastic fetuses you can buy.
Not only can you see your baby,
you can hold it.
You can see your baby moving in color, and you can hold your baby before that baby's born.
And I guarantee you, we're out of time. I'd love to talk about this a lot, but I'll tell you something. The abortion lobby is going to fight this tooth and nail. They're always tell you this nonsense about, oh, we want women to have all the information and all the options and make
their baby.
Yeah, as long as we want them to have a choice, as long as their choice is to kill their baby.
I got to real quickly say this one because I saved the best for last, and this is so awesome in Alabama. And again, why didn't we think of this? You know how you drive down the street? In fact, there's one in Grapevine, Texas that occasionally put a bunch of crosses, and this is how many babies killed today in Texas and all that. And this one is putting dolls on a stake, and they're putting 945, the amount killed in Alabama, all the time. And people drive by and see these babies hanging on a stake, and it really gets realistic.
Yeah. One thing that's the pro-aborts are going nuts over this.
Yeah. And the baby shoes, the babies on a stake.
But I'll tell you what's interesting that they're doing here though, is it's 47 babies, I think they say a day.
That they try to put out there.
Right,
yeah.
and so they bring out 47, and then tomorrow they bring another 47, and they bring out another 47. So as people are driving past every day, they see the thing, and the pro-aborts are going nuts.
But the lady that started doing this at the church said that some pro-abortion people have expressed some discomfort with seeing this.
Well, they actually come and destroy them too.
Again, I come back. Yeah, they come kick them down, knock them down. But I come back to, you know what? If abortion is going to, America is going to embrace abortion.
Let them look at it.
Look at it. You have to look at it every day. And shoot the messenger. And you're angry about this display right here. Go get angry that it's going on right down the street for real.
That's why our groups get kicked off college campuses, because they do exactly that. It makes people uncomfortable.
Exactly. Well, I wish we had a lot of time to talk about these things, but we don't.
We need to have them on and see how it's going.
Yeah. Okay, but let's move on and talk about the successes we're having with MAFA 21. I'm going to tell you guys, this thing has exploded like way beyond anything we could have imagined.
Rocking.
Yeah, it is. It is rocking and rolling. And you know, I think I mentioned here. I know I mentioned here last month or month before how we could see God's hand in this thing all through, because as Kyle and I and Danny and I and Carol and I talked about, we were producing something that was far better than any of us were talented enough or good enough to produce. And no doubt about that. I didn't expect you to jump right in and agree so quickly, but you should have said, oh, no, you're. But nonetheless, since you didn't do that, we can still see God's hand in this thing after it's out. And you know, one of the most amazing things, and I'm telling you, I'm not easily stunned, but I was stunned. A sitting United States Supreme Court justice, and probably the most radically pro-abortion moral degenerate we've had on the Supreme Court, and that's really saying something. Ruth Bader Ginsburg comes out here and says, I thought Roe was supposed to get rid of all the undesirables. That was the reason that we legalized abortion to begin with. She said to get rid of, quote, populations that we don't want to have too many of.
Ginsburg just said that.
Yes.
Just a few weeks ago.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
And nobody's picketing and protesting and burning places
Some people are now
down?
beginning to pick it up, but they haven't burned places down, but people are picking up on it now.
But this woman is, you know what she's saying? She is saying, even though she probably hasn't ever seen MAFA 21, she's saying that what's in MAFA 21 is exactly right.
You know, you should put a new copy out and put that quote right on the front.
Yeah.
Well, I wondered why God didn't have her say this 3 months ago, or a month ago. We could have gone ahead and put it in MAFA, but maybe it's making more impact here by being the thing that kind of confirms all the other stuff that we put in MAFA. But I'd love to have this woman. She made this made the statement in an interview with New York Times. If the New York Times interviewer had any brains, the next question is, well, Ms. Ginsburg, what people are you talking about when you say populations that we don't want to have too many of? It's supposed to get rid of those people.
And the right thing is she's Jewish.
I was about to say, isn't she a Jew?
More ironic. Yeah.
Who are these people that we don't want to have too many of? And but
she can't mean Jewish people, so would she?
I wonder who that could be. I wonder.
Wow.
It's amazing. I mean, these people, and we have had.
Why isn't the NAACP coming out? You know, it's just like it's so frustrating.
If you had said something like that, they'd have you impaled by now.
Right.
But I never heard a word about this till right now.
Because obviously she's not meeting white Jewish women, so who is she talking
Or
about?
the white wealthy.
Yeah,
Liberals are the
so
only people allowed to be racist.
Let me tell you the word that's going on behind the scenes in the black community, because black pastors have talked to me about it. They said, we got a problem here. You got Ginsburg that's Jewish and supports abortion. You got Boxer that's Jewish and supports abortion. You got Feinstein that's Jewish and supports abortion. They said, wait a minute, what's going on here with these Jewish women?
Not just support it, but
advocating it. And so behind the scenes, there's a whole lot of stirring going on now. Right. And it's not good for race relations, as I say.
Right, right. Yeah, but, and by the way, she's not the only one. We've had several things happen since Maafa came out where people are just basically admitting, and if you go on blogs and stuff, you can read where they're, people are admitting, yeah, abortion was meant to get rid of all these undesirable people. And in Maafa, I said something that I thought the pro-aborts are going to really jump on, and that was that if slaves had never been brought into the United States in chains, if you follow the progression as we do in Maafa 21, there would be no Planned Parenthood. There would never have been a eugenics movement. There would never have been birth control. There would never been abortion, and there'd never been a eugenics movement. And really what these people are saying is that's right.
that's to me what's so scary is that they're admitting it. So I think their strategy to deal with Maafa is, yeah, let's let the cat out of the bag with a few key people, and let's just get it out there and admit it. And their strategy is right because no one's really picking it up. They just kind of let it out a little bit.
I want to play to do away with undesirable people that we don't want.
That's right.
The great thing about this, remember 20 years ago, the pro-abortion movement, even 15 years ago, they would say abortion is just nothing more than clearing the contents of uterus. It's a clump of cells, a blob of tissue, blah, blah, blah. Product of conception.
Today they'll say it's murder.
Absolutely, they say it's a baby and it's murder, and that's the persistence of the pro-life movement and brought the debate over here where it needs to be, and we're winning on this issue. We also said years ago that Planned Parenthood is a racist organization. We brought up Margaret Sanger. George Grant wrote the book Killer Angel. It was kind of percolating, and now with Maafa 21, you've got it to this point now where the other side is forced to admit that they have a racist agenda. That also is bringing us way over the top. And I see, like, Obama's numbers sinking in the polls. I see these Planned Parenthood being defunded and closing down all over the place. They're being charged in Kansas. We're just short distance away from victory. I'm sure of it.
And that's why they're so insistent, like national health care, is because this would cement funding for them because they realize they're closing down clinics and they're losing funding. And videos like this does these things. Well, but if you do nationalized health care, then they're guaranteed income.
But there's another part of the nationalized health care. And again, we could go down this trail forever. But what nationalized health care is designed to do more than just fund abortion is to increase the profit on it, because the reality is, if right now the average cost of a first trimester abortion in the country is still under $400.
Yeah.
Under nationalized health care, it'll be $3,500 to $5,000. So even if they don't increase the numbers, the sheer volume of money that comes into the system will be overwhelming.
That's evidenced by all the freestanding abortion clinics, the ones that are run by individual abortionists or a group of abortionists. They're going out of business in droves.
Planned Parenthood's building new ones.
Planned Parenthood's the
ones.
Walmart of the abortion industry.
Well, and they're as you said in Maafa 21, they're the government arm. That's what the government hires Planned Parenthood to do abortions.
And now Planned Parenthood won't be the main. They come to Planned Parenthood put out a billboard. We're for health care. Right. They want to be the main agency in charge of health care.
Government health care.
The deaf and don't care folks.
Well, let me tell you something. We are having victories all over this country. I wish I could.
Mark, I want to compliment you for something, though. I told you something yesterday, and I think the audience need to know it, too. I got a call from Holland, from Minister Sattler, and he called to apologize. He was so upset.
New York. Yeah.
Harlem, New York. He was so upset. He said, I got some bad news, Brother John. I got some bad news. I said, well, I'll let Mark know, what the bad news. And I told Mark what the bad news was, and Mark loved the bad news. They had showed the Maafa 21, and some people at one job even stayed back and people watched it.
At their employer.
At the employer. So people start ordering. Well, all of a sudden, Minister Sattler was trying to let people know about it. Oh, I already got a copy. And somebody said, what you mean you already got a copy? He said, oh, well, he found out it was being bootlegged. So They were buying, in Harlem, there are now bootleg copies of Martha out for $5.
That's right.
And Mark said, well, praise God, his message is getting out. I thought you took that really well.
No, listen, if they want to bootleg copies of Mafia 21 for $5 in Harlem, I wish they'd bootleg 1 million of them up there.
The point's not to make money off.
The point's not to make money, the point's to get the message out. And speaking of getting the message out, because, and people need to understand the importance of this. We get the black community organized, the battle's over. The reinforcements that the pro-life movement has been needing for 25 years are on the horizon, and we're starting to make a stir with them, and they're starting to come up to the top of the hill and saying, I think we need to charge. And that's what's happening, and we're seeing this all over the country. No better place than our good buddy, Clenard Childress, Reverend Clenard Childress in New Jersey, who took several hundred Mafia 21s, plus about 10,000 of our Lynching is for Amateurs brochures, to the NAACP convention. And he's joining us today. Hello, Clenard.
Hello, how are you?
Just fine, sir. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Well, listen, you caused everyone here to have a pretty good laugh when you called in after the NAACP convention and was about 6 feet off the ground and we couldn't get you to come down. It's like you were filled with helium or something. You had some real experiences and some real victories up there. Tell us about some of them.
Well, absolutely. It was probably I felt the most productive thing that I've ever done. And so each day we were rejoicing, the teams, and praying, and it just seemed everything providentially had come together to make this an impact with people who are in authority, people who are in authority in the NAACP, and even the reluctant ones as we approached them, because there were other protesters out there. We had to be very careful about letting people know who we were.
Right.
But the Ginsburg comment literally just, what's the best word for it?
Just lit a fire.
They took steps back. They got heated. They were basically totally discombobulated by it. They didn't know how to respond to that. And I said to myself, well, it's great that I'm here.